Hello and welcome back to math. Today we're going to be working with decimals in their different forms. So their number form, like you have here, this is your base 10 numeral form, or in numbers. We're going to be working with expanded form as well as word form. So first I'm going to teach you what these different forms are. So this is our number form, our base 10 numeral. This number says 2 and, do you remember what this place value was from the other day? This is the hundredths, so 2 and 7 hundredths. Couple things to really keep track of and remember that you're getting in there. The and only comes at the decimal. We do not say and more than one time in a number, just at the decimal. And when you're in written form, make sure that your decimals have that THS on the end. 2 tens and 2 tenths are very different. 2 tens would be $20. 2 tenths would be 20 cents. So make sure that you have that on the end because that really matters. The expanded form, I'm going to show you two different ways. You might be used to 2 plus, I have to block out the ones place. There is no tenths. So like that. This is expanded. Word. In expanded, you are pulling apart the number into all of its bits and pieces. So think about an accordion. When you pull it apart, that's what we're doing with this number. We're going to pull it apart into all its different pieces. The other way you're going to see expanded form in our Bridges material, in our Bridges workbooks, is going to look like this. We have a 2 in the ones place and a 7 in the hundredths place. I'm going to show you both of those. This is going to stretch your brain. So I would like you to try both of them so that way they're both really in your brain. We're going to do a couple modeled and then I'm going to have you try some on your own. So for right now, you can set your pencil down and really just try to absorb this into your brain. Here's our next one. See if you can remember what that is. What place value is that? So this is 3 and 1 tenth. 3 and 1 tenth. In expanded form, 3 plus 0.1, or 3, in the ones place and 1 in the tenths place. Do you think that 3 and 1 tenth is going to be any different than this number here? Do you think the numbers have changed? The amount of money has not changed, but the way you say this number has. So this says 3 and 10 hundredths. We say the place value of wherever that last digit is in the number with decimals. So while this is still $3.10, this one is also $3.10. The name of these are going to be a little bit different. This is 3 and 10 hundredths. So the expanded form is going to look the same. 3. And, uh-oh, I just realized I wrote the wrong symbol there. Whoops. 0.1. The longer one is also going to look the same. 3 in the ones place and 1 in the tenths place. Since this number is technically a 0, we don't need to add it into our expanded form. The only thing that has really changed, because I put a 0 at the end, now I have to say hundredths at the end. But the amount, the value is still the same. Little tricky on that one, isn't it? All right, let's get you to try one this time. So this is the numeral. Why don't you try the word form? Also keeping in mind, if you're not a great speller, that's okay. This is math time. Sound it out, get close. If your teachers don't know what you're trying to say, they're gonna ask you what you are trying to say. So give it a try. Pause here and write the word form. Let's see how you did. This is 1 and 15. Remember, I'm going to call the name at the last digit place, so this falls in the hundredths. Try both expanded forms. Pause here. Let's see if you're able to pull it apart. This one's a little bit tricky. Remember, we want to pull it apart, so pull it apart. So all the numbers are on their own. So you have 1 plus 1/10, or you might have written it as a decimal, 1 and 1/10. Either one is fine. And 5 hundredths and 0.05. Let's see how you did on that tricky one. We have a 1, whoops, don't forget the brackets, 1 in the ones place, and we have a 1 in the tenths place. This also says 1 group of 1/10, 1 group of 1. And we have a 5 in the hundredths place, or we have 5 groups of the 100ths place. So pulling, making sure you keep all those numbers apart. The only one we don't have to record are those zeros. Everything else should only have one number with it. Let's give this one a shot before I start tricking you or changing it up a little bit. There's the numeral. Try the word form. Pause here. Remember, this number is wherever the last digit lands. This is 2 hundredths. 2. Check that word form. Do you have that THS on the end? If not, you have 200, and that's a way more than 2 pennies. Try expanded. Pause here. Expanded is super easy. There is only one number in here, guys. So your expanded looks like this. Or it looks like this. Or it looks like 2 groups of the hundredths place. I gotta turn my page, I'm out of room. And get it back in the right spot. Okay. This time, I'm going to give you the word form. So this is 1 and 21 hundredths. I want you to make the numeral. Pause here. If you got a little bit stuck, the best thing to do is to go little section at a time. One and. I know that the and means decimal. I'm going to stop there. 1 and. 21 hundredths. Okay, I know the 1 has to land in that hundredths place, which is the second digit over. Okay, so 21. How'd you do? Give yourself a little pat on the back for trying or for getting it right. Either one. Now, try the expanded. Pause here. Remember, we want to pull all those numbers apart into their own space. So we should have 3 pieces. So you have 1 and 2 tenths and 1/100th. Or maybe you did it in a fraction. 1 and 2 tenths and 1/100th. Try this one. 1 group of the ones place and 2 groups of the tenths place and 1 group of the hundredths place. Nice work. Let's try and make it a little bit more difficult, shall we? How about here's the word form, 25 and 8/100ths. Try making the numeral. Pause here. Just like before, we want to make sure that we take this in chunks, then we know we won't miss anything. 25 and, okay, so 25 and 8/100ths. Okay, so this last number has to land in the hundredths place. I know that's the second digit. So what do I do here? There's nothing there. How do I say no tenths with a 0? Let's give expanded a shot. Pause here. Okay, pulling it all apart. Now we have 20 and 5 and 0.08 8/100ths, or 20 and 5 and 8/100ths. We have 2 groups of the tens place and 5 groups of the ones place and 8 groups of the hundredths place. You think you got it? Can we do something a little trickier still? I'm going to do the expanded form this time. We'll start with this one. Fill in the numeral form. Pause here. Whenever you have something that, if you're starting with the word form or the expanded form, always go to the number form first. It's easier to put everything together. If we would go straight to the word, then we'd have to try and put this together twice instead of just doing it numbers first. So we have 3 in the hundreds place. Then we have a 5 in the ones place. I don't see any tenths. I don't see any tens in here. Okay, so that means no tens, 5 ones, and then we've gone to the decimal. Okay, so decimal, and there's a 1 in the tenths, and 9. What does that number say? Put it in word form. Pause here. That number says 305 and 1900ths. Notice I did not say 305. That is incorrect. The decimal is not here. That says 305 and 1900ths. 305 and 19. Hundredths. Oh, got close. Remember, we're in math right now. Spelling needs to be close so we can figure out what you're trying to say, but it does not need to be spot on perfect. If you want to fix it, that's fantastic. All right, last one for today, and I'm going to really bring out the big guns. Are you ready for this? Oh my goodness, this is a huge one. Can you put that in word form? You're probably gonna need 2 lines. Pause here. This is a huge number. Don't try and write all of it at one time. We're gonna take this one little chunk at a time, just like we do with expanded or anything else. Let's just look at this part. This says 452. I'm gonna write that. 452. Now I'm at the first comma. I know that that is 1,000. Notice that I don't say 400,000, 50,000, 2,000. The word 1,000 only comes at that comma. 452,000. 452,000. This next group says 371. I'm going to have to drop to the next line because I'm on. Oh, I can fit the 3. 371. That next piece of punctuation here in numbers, that's the decimal, so I know that's an and. 800ths. Whew, look at that word form. That is super long. So, expanded is going to be even longer. Pause here. Expand this number. Alright, before we even get started, take a look at it. All those need to be pulled apart into its own piece. So, we have 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus 50,000 plus 2,000 plus 300 plus 70 plus 1 plus 0.08. Ooh, look how long that is. I want to point out that you might notice I dropped the decimal because I wanted to show you. See this part right here? Hopefully you can see my yellow marker. This part here, I didn't put on all the numbers. You can either add that part, that's the decimal 00, or not. Both of them are correct as long as the first part is correct. 400,000 is the same even with the 2 decimals. So let's look at the big expanded one. So we have a 4 groups of 100,000 and 5 groups of 5 groups of 10,000 and 2 groups of the thousands place and 3 groups of the hundreds and 7 groups of the tens place and 1 group of the ones place. Whew! And 8 groups of the hundredths place. Nice work today. Give yourself a little pat on the back and make sure to get on, and you're going to do pages 76, 77, and 78 today. See you tomorrow, guys. Bye.